righty, gang. Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen. I'm out here on the boat, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna let Tiffany and Dave Bacon and uh, and Tracy take the show over. I'm gonna be out here fishing with my boss and his family. But it's an absolute horrible day out here on the water. I'm sorry that I have to be out here. If you can see it, that's a spot of breezing fish right in front of us, little skipjack tuna.
Mm.
Water's 76 degrees, and somebody has to do it, me. But we're doing the show today. It's vague. Oh, look at. They're jumping right there, Dave. Look at. See them on the bow?
I can see him. My blood's
That's a
boiling.
whole fish right there, gang. That's straight fish. We might get a hookup. Oh my
grab a
God.
rod.
It's terrible, isn't it?
My
Terrible,
blood's boiling, and my instinct is to cast.
Yeah, we got the youngest person on the boat right now is 84. So they're not making any cast. Oh, a manta! There goes a manta ray. Gosh,
Oh,
terrible.
wow.
That is a big, beautiful animal. Love those guys.
What a day.
Gang, it's ReelQuick Thursday. We can't do this show without our great sponsors, and ReelQuick is a great sponsor of the show. Daniel Rubin's going to be at the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show right next to us. Tiffany Vague and her dad, David Bacon, are going to be right next to us too. We're getting ready to do the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show. Then we roll right into the California International Boat Show. Tiffany and David will be talking about that today on the show. I am going to turn this over to Tiffany and Dave and Tracy, and they're going to have at it. I will be here for moral support, and I'll jump in when we hook a big whopper fish. But thank you all for joining us today. Enjoy the show and have a good time. And Tiffany and Dave, take it away.
All right. Have fun out there.
Will do. Did you notice he said he's providing moral support?
That's right.
You know, that's what I like about Captain Dave. He can make claims like that, you know?
That's right.
He's out there doing good stuff, and I'm so proud of him and happy for him. It's like, you know, you could just look at him and look around him and see his enjoyment of it. But more than that, if you look at him and watch him from a captain's perspective, you see that his eyes are everywhere. His ears are everywhere. I mean, he is just totally tuned in to what all is going on around him. And that's exactly what a captain needs to be able to do. Take that focus down to a level. For myself, I tell you one thing that's really unique about me is I'm probably the only captain on the coast that will not wear sunglasses, because they take a little bit of color away from me. And if they rob me of that color, I can't quite read the water quite as well. Now, that may be a difference between my eyes and the next person's eyes. Don't know. But it's that level of focus to just every advantage that you can eke out there is just what helps make you a successful captain and put fish on board for people who are depending on you to put fish on board. So I'm proud of him for having such a good time. But hey, we're going to have a pretty good time right here too, because if we're not fishing, at least we can be talking about fishing, right? That's kind of the next best thing.
Or wrapping rods.
And that feeds the whole fishing thing. And it's pretty cool today because, you know, we get to do a number of things. I mean, like, you know, thank our sponsors, you know, Daniel Rubin, ReelQuick, Reel Seats.
How are you today?
I imagine if Captain Dave can have one or more of those aboard, he'll be glad he did. And any of you, I recommend that you do the same. And he also mentioned something important: the California International Boat Show coming up April 9th through 12th at the Anaheim Convention Center. Daniel Rubin, is going to be there. As is Captain Dave, and that is going to be a show of shows. And I like the way it's described as an arena level boat show. So if you're in California or any state close to it, on April 9th through 12th, I recommend strongly that you be at the Anaheim Convention Center from 10 the California International Boat Show, and be sure and stop by our booth because Captain Tiffany is going to have a real big booth there, and she's going to have people that are top-notch rappers, and they're going to be showing their skills and putting on seminars about how to do different rod wrapping things, and it is just going to be an amazing show for everyone. I'm going to be putting on seminars about safe boating and how to live through the whole experience. And I think at a California International Boat Show,
you want me to
that
drive over
should be
to
a topic that I want everybody that buys a boat or rides a boat to tune into. So we're looking forward to that show. But this show today, we got some super special stuff because Captain Tiffany always talks about rod wrapping and all the neat stuff that you can do. And we have these tech talks here. Like, what was it, last week, I think, we were talking about to gimbal or not to gimbal. You know, and we take each of these aspects of rod wrapping and just kind of go somewhere with them and talk about, you know, what the function is. I mean, like when we were doing the to gimbal or not to gimbal talk, it was about 2/3 way through the talk when somebody on the chat entered the question that we should have started with, which was, what does a gimbal do? I'm going, why didn't we start with that? You know? So we like to take things down to the basic level.
Then I'm home for a week, and then I fly back up.
And starting at the basic level and going towards the advanced is what Captain Tiffany's classes are all about doing. She teaches these classes. She teaches a 15-week master class in rod building. Unlike most of the classes available out there, which are, you know, 2 half-day things or all day somewhere, maybe in person, sometimes online, this is a 15-week master class that takes people from beginning all the way up to masters of rod building. And then people, once having taken that, some of them will tune into her final class, which teaches things like weaving and just the super master secrets. But Tiffany isn't secretive, so she'll share all of that in these classes. So go to vaguerods.net, and it's .net because we use nets in fishing. So go to vaguerods.net and check out her classes and sign up for one. They're very reasonable, and they come with a free rain shadow blank. And so just going in, you've just about got the class paid for. And then through vaguerods.net with Tiffany, you get all your rod wrapping components and blanks and all the stuff that you need at like discounts up to like 40%. So definitely the best prices you're going to find anywhere. So do that. But for today, we got a topic that's going to be really cool. We are going to be talking about tiger wraps.
Especially doing what you're doing.
Raise your hand out there if you've successfully done tiger wraps and you're proud of how they look. Okay? See? We got Tracy Fry with us, and he knows how to do that. He worked with Captain Tiffany, and they have perfected his style.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He's a well-known rod wrapper.
Okay, the Mediterranean, that'll work. I'll fly over there and hang out with you.
New skills or taking a skill and advancing it to the next level.
Just kidding.
And unlike so many rod builders that are super secretive about what they know and do, we're not like that here.
What a cool adventure.
And so, you know, we're going to take that from there.
Fun. That'd be
and so, Captain Tiffany and Tracy, why don't you take this and go somewhere with it?
Well, Tracy, I have to introduce him formally to everybody. He's one of my students in my Tuesday night class, which is a 15-week rod building course. And this class is like holds dear to my heart. Class day, it ends up being a veterans class. Majority of the people in the class are veterans, and it just it's just a delightful class, completely different than all other classes. everybody in this class is gung-ho, wanting to learn. We text, we're creating bonds and friendships. I mean, it's just a completely different class. Tracy, somebody up here is asking a question here, and I thought it might be good for you to answer since you've been through it. Somebody's just asking how is the blank choice for given species or guide choice for types of rods in the class? What do we do in this class that's different than, how do you choose them?
Well, basically, there's so many different choices for the specific different species. It just really depends on what you're going after. I mean, there's everything from saltwater to freshwater. There's fly. There's all kinds of choices for your components, for everything. So it really just depends on what you're going after. The selection is vast. You can really dig into it and figure out which direction you want to go with it. It's really however deep you want to go into it, you can. There's so many different directions. The choices are endless, and that's what I found personally. It was just almost like you had to take a step back and really focus on, okay, what do I want to do here with this particular build? Because there's so many choices. So I ended up picking like a couple different builds for myself because there was just too much to choose from. So really, it's just whatever direction you want to go. The sky's the limit. Anywhere from fresh to salt. Yeah, I mean, you name it. It's all there for you.
Hi, Daniel.
How's everybody doing?
Good. This is my friend Tracy, who's in one of my classes. We're talking about what he does in his business and stuff. And you two might want to hook up after this.
We will. At some point, we're going to. We're starting off this year right. Working on everything ReelQuick at the moment. So yes, Tracy, we will get. It is Tracy, right? Without my glasses.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
Sounds good.
PCS or no PCS? Tracy going to PCS?
I'm not sure. Tracy, are you going to come down to the PCS show?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. We just finished up some shows up here, and so we're just kind of getting things organized from that, and we're going to make a decision soon.
Very good. Let's not talk about ReelQuick on the sponsored show. Let's talk about the shows that are coming up. The boat show that Dave mentioned, Captain Dave Bacon mentioned. I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. I'll be included with Tiffany's booth. And then we've got 2 shows coming this week, next week, and then 2 weeks after in San Diego for PCS. So we're going to be presenting our stuff to everybody over this next couple of months of the show. It's awesome timing for me, awesome timing for Tiffany Vague and Vague Rods. It's awesome timing all the way around. This is going to be a good couple of months.
These shows that you're mentioning, they're always so fun, and they're opportunities for the industry to get together. And all year long, we're all off doing our businesses and fishing and doing all that important stuff. But the shows is when we really come together. And it's fascinating to me how I see things play out. Here's a classic example. I'll be talking to somebody at one of the boat shows. Let's just say it's a PCS, right? And we're having this conversation, and then, it's time to go do a seminar. So off we go, and it's the last day. And so we're gone. And then the next year at that same PCS show, we walk right up to each other when we see each other and pick back up that conversation like not a minute had passed. Right? And that's some of the beauties of the industry, people getting together.
Yeah, very awesome.
I want to go back for a minute to something before I forget it that Tracy was talking about when he was talking about so many possibilities when you're deciding which blanks to use and things like that. Because I see rod building as, I want to say 2-step process, and Tiffany's going to go, we could make that a 12.5-step process.
15 weeks
daily, right? But if I boil it down, there's the creating the tool, and then there's applying art.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Tracy was talking about is so much about building the tool. First, you got to decide, what am I going to do with this rod? You know, if you're buying a hammer, if you're a framer, you buy one hammer. If you're a finished carpenter, you buy a different hammer. And so in this case, we have to say, oh, well, this is a catfish stick for deep lakes, which is different than a catfish stick for a shallow river or something like that. And so really you have to take this down to, what am I going to do with this rod? And that helps you make those decisions. I want this length. I want this pound rating. I want this action, and all of those factors. And then it also helps you build that out with all the componentry you need. You know, maybe you're going to put a ReelQuick reel seat on there. Well, first you got to figure out what blank you're going to use, and then figure out which ReelQuick reel seat is going to go with it. And then you purchase all your materials, hopefully through vaguerods.net, and then you can build that tool. Once you know what all your components are, and you know the size of the rod, the circumference, everything, then you can start thinking about, well, what art do I want to put on here? And today's topic being tiger wraps, that's one of many forms of art that you can put on there. And I'm kind of looking forward to you two, Captain Tiffany and Tracy, talking about how to do the tiger wrap. Get into that for us, would you?
Well, in class, we actually just covered this the last class a couple days ago on tiger wrapping, giving them, you know, little tips, showing them how to do it, showing them what not to do, showing them what happens when you do certain things that you shouldn't do. But Tracy, what is one of the things that you learned in the class and how to make this tiger wrap? Do you have any pointers to people from experiences that you had that you were making mistakes on, and what you corrected it so that you can make a successful tiger wrap?
We lost him.
We lost Tracy.
We lost Tracy. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully he can get back on, or Dave can let him back on or something, because we want to hear from him. I mean, Tiffany can certainly answer her own questions, but hopefully we can get Tracy.
Well, hopefully we'll get him back on here. Well, with tiger wrapping, a lot of things that I find that people are doing, it's the size threads that they're using. One of the key things, there he is.
There I am.
Back over to Tracy.
Yeah. So for me, there was just so many things that I learned, and Tiffany's such a great teacher. She's has so much knowledge in this subject of these different wraps, and so she's able to teach a lot of the intricacies of these wraps. And so what I learned is basically as you're making your as you're doing your burnishing on these threads, it makes a big difference how you're burnishing, the direction you're burnishing, the kind of movements that you're making, and how you're burnishing on each axis, as well as making sure that whenever you're doing your wraps, that you don't have a lot of different types of spacing in your wraps as well. The thread sizes is another point that she taught us, and makes a huge difference. The size of thread that you're using on your under wraps as well as your over wraps, and these combinations can play a difference in the outcome. But a lot of what Tiffany teaches are the subtleties of these techniques, and a lot of that is what creates the outcome of the desired effect. And so, you know, you can go a long time doing these things on your own and trying and failing and trying and failing. But the benefit of these classes, of learning from somebody, from Tiffany, is to get these benefits of all this experience and all this knowledge that she's acquired over the years to help you just kind of hone these skills in and cut that learn time down so that you can effectively do these techniques and move forward in your process of building, not only with these techniques, but actually with what you were talking about, Captain Dave, assembling the tool and creating the right tool for the right job and learning and gaining the knowledge for the right application that you're using. And so all of these things come into play so that, like, when you're going ahead and you're building a rod for a customer, you're not only building the right tool, but you're building something that's beautiful in a good amount of time so that you're able to move forward in the process and create something in a timely manner, and then be happy with the product that's going to fish great. And so all these things I've learned in the process of this course with Tiffany. I think we're in about week 13, or 12 or 13. And every single week I've come away learning something beneficial in this class. Not only am I getting these small little nuggets, but I'm able to get the access to the components through her site that are great components. You have lots of choice. You can put together beautiful rods, the kind of rods I never even dreamed that I could put together. And I would never dream of fishing these kind of rods that I'm putting together right now because they're just so beautiful. I don't want to take them out and get them dirty and get fish slime all over them and scales on them and whatnot. But it's just been one of these experiences that I benefited greatly from. My business has benefited greatly from, and it's just been a pleasure to learn from Tiffany and learn these techniques because it takes a long time to acquire this knowledge.
True. And, related to some of what you were talking about, Tim asked a great question. Does the manufacturer of the blank determine the pound classification, or does the rod need to be built out to determine the pound rating? And, you can do things to rods that, as you build them, that may change that to some degree. But manufacturer to manufacturer, yeah, there are differences. And that holds true with many things in fishing. The classic example is a tackle store owner for many years. Walk up to the hook display and pull out an owner size 1/0 hook. And then you go move over a foot or two and pick out, another manufacturer size 1/0 bait hook and a third manufacturer. And you're looking at 3 different sizes of hooks that all claim to be size 1/0 bait hook. And so, especially in hooks, but also in rods, you pick up one manufacturer's 10 to 20 pound stick, and it may be different than the next manufacturer. So, yeah, it does help to at least know in general which manufacturers tend to rate theirs a little higher or a little lower. Any input on that, Tiffany? Tiffany? Uh-oh. Maybe she can't hear me. Well, Tracy, can you take that one?
Sure. Well, I just know that different manufacturers have different technologies built into their blanks. And so it's going to be a little bit different for each manufacturer. So it's going to just really depend on, you doing your research on specific rods and being able to come up with with whatever you feel comfortable with. Follow the specifications, of course, but certain manufacturers have a little bit more technology built into their blanks. And so you just got to really do your homework and really look at the specifications, but do some of your own testing as well.
Yeah. And that's another advantage to going to some of these shows, is because you can go to the show and you can walk to the booth of all these different manufacturers, and you can kind of pick out one 1 pound rating that you know you're gonna build, you know, and see what the example I mentioned is 10 to 20 pound stick or 12 to 20, whatever, and see what that feels like, and go to a booth of another manufacturer and see what that one feels like. And that's how you get your feel for which manufacturers tend to rate a little high and which ones tend to rate a little low. And then you have that base of knowledge going into your rod building when you're on the vaguerods.net website and saying, hey, I'm going to go for this one, you know?
Hey, Tracy, show everybody your tiger wrap that you did.
Sure.
And talk about the tiger wrap, different things that you did. You guys wait to see this. He did a beautiful, beautiful job.
I don't know if we can see this.
Put your hand, yeah, there you go. Bring it up a little bit.
There we go.
Oh yeah, can see it now.
It looks a lot better in pictures. This doesn't show the formation of everything on the video.
So this one was just, I was trying to do something a little bit subtle on this, just to kind of fit the kind of color of the blanks and the handles and whatnot.
Yeah.
What we're looking for is just to kind of blend in with the rest of the rod. But on this particular one, it was just a matter of really trying to work. This is like the third try on this specific wrap, but we're trying different threads, and I ended up using the A size thread underneath and then going with the D over the top, and then just working the different strokes that Tiffany taught us in class on the different axes, on the 0 and the 180, and then just really applying what we had learned. And I basically, right after class, just started working on this thing, and it took a couple tries to get it to where I was comfortable with it. But I mean, I was really happy with how it turned out. It's kind of hard to see, but
yeah, the lighting isn't the best, you know. But boy, just think how that thing looks out in the sunlight fishing.
I mean, the pictures really pop.
What type of burnishing techniques did you do on that one to give it the?
So with that, it was a lot of the circles. I did a lot of the circles one direction, and then coming back, it was the short strokes coming back the other way, and then I would turn it, and then I would do that the opposite way, going the other direction, and then just kind of like turning it another quarter, and then just kind of doing like quarter strokes, and just doing different kind of intermittent things just to try to get that to kind of come up with an abstract look. And it took several tries for it to really kind of come out the way I wanted it to. And it was really a matter of getting the feel right.
Yeah.
And then getting it to a point to where when you're pulling those strings out, you're actually not moving any of the threads, but you're allowing them to come out without moving anything. And there's a certain feel you get when that's happening, but you got to burnish them to a point to where they lay down and they stay. And that's kind of the trick that I learned after doing it a few times. And it's just a matter of getting it to a point to where you get that feel for it.
And also when you're taking your sacrificial threads out, you're not going super fast with it like a lot of people do. And they're also pulling it one direction or another direction that causes your main thread that stays to bunch up. Yeah. So you got to be pulling it,
pulling it very lightly, spinning the rod in your hand and just lightly pulling the strings upward or downward just to keep everything nice and loose. and just keep it coming off of the rod gently. You don't want to pull it with any tension on that.
Right.
You want to roll that rod and just kind of let that string come off. And sometimes it may kind of twist around a little bit. Just roll it back and then just keep continuing on down. And then that's the best way that I found to get that off of there, and without moving those threads, because you move those threads, you might be able to go back and adjust one or two of them. But if you're moving fast and you move a bunch of them, you're going to have to redo that whole thing, that whole top layer. And it really pays to just take your time and just be patient and just, go slow.
Yeah.
I remember
Hold on 1 second, you guys. I want to show you this real quick video I made with all about ReelQuick fishing stuff, the reel seats. Dave Brown and I talked about it yesterday. Here, check this out, and then we'll get right back into this.
I'm just trying to think in my head here. I'm like, it's a pretty hot corner where your booth's at here, because you got the stage, you got Dave Hansen's booth, and right next to that, you got the ReelQuick, the reel seats. I mean, everybody's lined up there. You want a taco Okuma, you want to check out those reel seats are phenomenal. You just pop that reel in there and you're good to go.
Isn't that an amazing thing, Dave Brown? I mean, why no one ever thought of it? No one ever came up with it? You just slide it in there.
People are afraid, like they feel like they need to actually lock something in, but those things are they're pretty amazing. He's going to be right there next to your booth, and then hopefully he's got some McCarty. He usually does. So check those things out as well.
Daniel will have a whole array of reels and rods for everybody to touch and feel. We've been talking about it for a little over 2 years now, the ReelQuick, and it looks like it's starting to take off, gang. And this is being a show to come and see what we're talking about, because the ReelQuick system is an absolute. We'll talk more about it tomorrow on the show, but it's just an unbelievable. I thank you very much for recognizing it, because Daniel's a close personal friend, and I love that he's getting love from the industry.
Yeah, those are great. He shows us every year. Oh, come check it out, Perry, in case you forgot. It's like, no, we can't forget. These things are awesome. I'm just trying to think in my head here. I'm like, it's a pretty hot corner where your booth's at here, because you got the stage, you got Dave Hansen's booth, and right.
All right, gang, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen. We're down here at the Pacific Coast Sportfishing Show, and I'm with Daniel Rubin, the creator of the ReelQuick reel seat system. This is an amazing, amazing product.
You guys, check this out. ReelQuick fishing is a dovetail connection. It is in the unlock position. Comes right off the rod with a dovetail connection. No more screws, no more clamps on the back. Goes on the rod. Just like that, and we can lock this in place. Turn of a pin. This is strong. This is not coming off of this rod. ReelQuickFishing.com. Dave, you want to add anything to this?
Talk about it here real quick. I know the volume was bad on that video with me and Dave Brown, but it's the best I can do. I'm out here fishing.
Making us all jealous.
Well, it works, and it was a good topic. That reel seat is it's unique. It's creative. It's that's one of the neat things about this industry is somebody comes in and brings something creative, and that's what Daniel has done. I'm proud of him.
Thanks, Mr. Bacon, Captain Bacon.
Yeah. So I was getting ready to just say about tiger wraps. I remember when Tiffany years ago started doing tiger wraps, and Doc Ski mentored her in doing them. And I remember she came back from all of that mentoring, and I walk in and she's working on one, and I watch her for a second and I said, "What the heck are you doing?" I mean, frankly, it looks a little strange, It's kind of a weird way to do things with thread, and you're rubbing along them, and you're doing stuff, you know. And to someone who doesn't know about such things as tiger wraps, it just looks like some of that "what the heck are you doing" stuff.
I always think when I'm first teaching it, how it's got to be boring just watching 3 threads go side by side as I'm rolling it around across the whole blank until the end of where I want to end my decorative piece. And it's always funny to watch the student's face that have never seen a tiger wrap before, watching it and looking at with this facial like, what the hell is she doing?
Yeah. And then maybe the most interesting part from a viewer's perspective is when you start, doing the burnishing type of stuff. And, because so much of the creativity comes in that part too. And the impact of that on the final product, how it looks in the end, is just, it's a weird thing, I think, to watch this technique. But some of the things you can do on a rod with it just make it really, really worth doing.
The key thing with tiger wraps, or one of the many key things, is, the thread sizes I find really make a difference. Having the size A on the bottom and either a size C or a size D on top. Then how you burnish it, whether you do short strokes, long strokes, circle strokes, oval strokes, and making sure that when you get to the point where you're burnishing, you don't want to be burnishing the same direction as your as the threads are going. Like when you have it spiral wrapped, we call it, you're not burnishing it in the spiral form. You want to have it to where it's going against it, so that there's some resistance, so that you can create that little jagged mark, or a stripe or a circle, or if you want to go a circle over and over, creating more of a lava lamp type look. So like Tracy said, it all has to do with how you burnish it, different techniques. Tracy, which is your favorite the outcome of doing short strokes, long strokes, or circles? Which is your favorite way to do it? Oh, you're on mute.
Can't hear you, Tracy. You're on mute.
Did you mute yourself?
Now you can.
Now he can. Okay, Dave had him.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, my favorite is just is really just experimenting. I mean, that was my favorite part of the class so far, is just the experimentation with the tiger wraps, because I know, like, watching some of the videos, and I know that Tiffany's learned from Doc, and just seeing how you can experiment with this thing and get so many different effects. And that's what gets me so excited about it, is that you just don't know what you're going to get. It's like Christmas every time you do something different. And so for me, I'm a creative at heart. And so for me, that's the part that really gets me going. And so I'm excited about doing them all, trying them all, and just coming up with these different effects and just seeing what comes out, because that's the exciting part. We spend so much time, building these rods and coming up with these different design ideas. And this is the one part of the design that you really don't know how it's going to turn out. You know what I mean? And
True.
so it's
True.
It's really exciting.
Let's get down into the nuts and bolts a little bit here. Tiffany, what problems are you solving by using an under wrap of size A and an over wrap of size D?
It's not so much a problem. I mean, you can do a size D and a size D, or a C and a D. But what I found is using size A, and this is something that Doc had brought up to me, was that you use a size A and then you use a size D, you're going to get more pronounced with what the A is actually doing.
Okay. Got it. And then related to that, or maybe unrelated a little bit, you're both talking about burnishing and the importance of that and what you can do with it and the different techniques. And Tiffany, the one you were describing, I was almost visualizing a halo effect, which I think either of you could do a halo effect, right? And it might be fascinating. But I'm wondering, when you're burnishing, how many different burnishing tools would you like to have in your toolkit, and what would be different between them, and how would those differences allow you to express your art differently?
How much is in your wallet? You don't need that many tools to create an effect. Some people, they actually use the back side of the knife, not the serrated side, but the back side where it has that little edge to it. And they'll use that to kind of make this motion instead of this motion like you do with the burnishing tool. I just use a burnishing tool. One tool is all I use. And I can create many different styles, different designs, oval shaped, zebra stripes, circles, zigzags, all sorts of different stuff with one tool. Other people like to manipulate the thread with picks. Some people, when they have long nails, like when mine grows out more, they like using their nails. Everybody has a different tool that they like to use. So it just all depends. But, Tracy, what tool did you use on your tiger wraps?
Well, I use the burnishing tool, but I use the different sides of it as well. So, you have the edge that I used on some parts of it, and then I used the regular smooth side on some parts. But I also use the pick as well to kind of to maneuver some of that, to kind of get in between and get a little more movement, and it was a little bit smoother. You could get in between the threads a little bit. So it was just about, again, it's just about, for me, it's about experimenting and, getting the creative juices flowing and seeing kind of what comes out. We had to take a few of the wraps off because of that, but I think that's part of that learning process and kind of figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. And that's, I think you got to push yourself a little bit in that respect.
You do. You do. And I'm watching the chat over here, and Matt's kind of gone off in a different direction there. I'm not sure which room of the house he's in.
Fishing Matt Ride, get your head out of the gutter, please.
Yeah. But Jeff talks about, I love his wording here. He talks about when you do this creation of your very own, and now you get to take it out fishing, it becomes your Excalibur.
Yeah.
And that is, I like that, because that just really sums up the way we feel about expressing our creativity and ingenuity, and also just, mechanical knowledge, if you will, into building a rod and then going to use it for the right purpose for that rod. And it works. And, Cubby's comment here reminds me of something I wanted to say. And he's saying, I learned with a spoon. It works awesome. Still does. Yes. And I have often over the years wondered if Tiffany had lost her burnishing tool when I found my toothbrush missing, my comb missing, various household and personal items, So I think the answer to my earlier question is, you can use anything, But it's interesting to find out, am I going to get those toothbrushes and combs back ever? Yeah.
Someday, but I don't know if you want them back the way they look now, especially after using them in marbling.
Probably not. Oh well. But Cubby makes a good point. Covey uses a spoon. Works
Spoons
his phone.
work.
Spoon has multiple facets, it has edges, it has all kinds of stuff. And it's got not just the spoon part, but it's got the handle, you know. So yeah, you can do a lot of things right there with
My
that
son
tool.
likes to use his knife, not the sharp end, but like he uses that. He pulls out his little switchblade and is like, he uses that.
Yeah. No, Matt's right. I'm still waiting for you to give me back that toothbrush so I can get back to brushing my teeth. You know? especially the missing one, you know. and that's because that's there, and I refuse to fix it because a thresher shark knocked it out of my face with its tail one time, and if I fix that tooth, it's like losing the story, and I'm not willing to do that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. But the rest of them I'll brush when I get that brush back, Matt.
Somebody was asking about Tracy's business, and that's a good time to bring it in. What is your vision for your rod building business? What do you want to do with it? And what type of builds do you like to do?
Well, I like to do everything. I'm kind of grassroots. What I like to do is I like to build fresh and salt. The business is fresh to salt customs. And so I do a little bit of everything. You know, we have a lot of regulations here. So, you know, we're really highly regulated. So I like to build a lot of freshwater stuff, a lot of saltwater stuff. I'm up here in the Puget Sound, so we have a lot of salmon, steelhead, but we don't always get a chance to do those. And so a lot of trout, Eastern Washington, we have a lot of walleye, a lot of bass. And so it gives me an opportunity to do a lot of different builds. I work with a lot of different folks. I work with a lot of tournament anglers. I work with some guides. I work with some with the local sportsmen's groups. I work with some youth groups. And so I do a lot of different stuff like that to just kind of stay busy. I'm a fisherman at heart. And so I just love to get out, build rods, and go fishing mainly. And then when I find when I'm out there, people see the rods that I'm fishing with. They ask a lot of questions. They see the rods and they're going, wow, what is that? Where did you do? You know, and it kind of starts that conversation. And so, and I love meeting people. I love meeting new people, building these new relationships. And so I'm just kind of, you know, community driven and not looking to really have a job. You know, I'm semi-retired. I'm a retired vet, recovered cancer patient. And so I'm just looking at, you know, kind of give back to the community, do a little fishing, make a little money, get some kids fishing, work on testing and building, you know, rods, and build some quality stuff for some anglers and get out there and have a good time. And that's kind of my vision. And I'm having a ball doing it. It's really fun. And I just look forward to getting together with friends and going new places and trying these rods out. You know, it's a kick in the pants.
What's your favorite build?
My favorite build is I love building salmon rods. You know, we do a lot of, you know, we do a lot of downrigger fishing. We do a lot of river fishing. We do a lot of jigging. So any of that kind of stuff is kind of my forte, is what I do. We build a lot of rods for on the Columbia. So, I mean, that covers a lot of different types of rods. But, I mean, that's kind of like what I've honed my skills on. But, I mean, I just love building all kinds of rods, to be honest with you. I mean,
and what a great way to have like a retirement career, a retirement business, you know. And it puts me in mind of a good friend of ours, been in the industry forever, done wonderful things in the industry, Bob Hoos. One time in a meeting with them, and everybody's kind of taking a turn around the table at the beginning of the meeting, saying who they are and what they do. And when it came his turn, he raised up a hand and said, Bob Hoos, employed fisherman.
Yeah.
Enough said, you know.
Yeah, it's a great way to. I just don't want to have a job, you know. I just want to enjoy what I'm doing. I want to have a good time. I want to keep fishing. I want to get more people fishing. I want to help other fishermen, and just have a good time with it. Enjoy, get to learn new fisheries, and get to see new places and meet new people.
If someone wants you to build a rod for them, how would they get in contact with you?
That would be by phone. My phone number, 425-350-3443. That'd be the best way. Yeah, because I'm just
say that again.
425-350-3443. Yeah, that's the best way to get in contact. Like I said, I'm grassroots, so keep it simple.
You've done beautiful work. I've seen, your progression going on in the class. You do outstanding work. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. It's
really
been a pleasure being in your class. It really has.
What's the biggest thing in the class that you've learned the most?
There's so many things. I mean, there really is. I mean, just really from the beginning all the way up to some of these more advanced wraps and stuff. There's just so many things that I've learned about, from just like little things like the beginning of the wraps to get the guides on. Okay, just little things like that. Going the extra loop around and securing that on there instead of just going one time around and doing it. Then you get to the end and then you go put your stuff on there and the guides are coming off and what have you. I mean, it saved me so much headache. Just that little tip, because you get to going so fast, you know what I mean? And it's just one little thing like that. And then also just being able to the camaraderie in our group.
It's a special class. I mean, wouldn't you say about 95% of the class is veterans?
Yeah, it is.
There's only one or two that aren't.
And what I like about the class is there's people with all different skill levels in the class, and people are able to learn from one another in the class as well as your instruction, but it's helpful for people to learn from one another as well. And that's kind of the other big takeaway from your class, is that you give the class, you ask us questions about, like, if anybody has any input on a subject, right? And because we have guys in the class that have their own businesses as well. We have guys that are just building their first rod, as well as your instruction. And the thing about rod building is you can learn so many things from different people all the time. Yeah. You're always learning in this field.
That's one of the things that I really stress on with everybody is having that open dialogue, having that open communications among whether you're picking up a blank for the first time to this is your 1,000th, millionth rod you've built. Everybody talking to each other, asking each other questions. You're going to learn. You'll even learn from the guy who just picked up the blank for the first time. There's always in this industry something to learn. It's never going to be a day where you're not going to learn something. I learn stuff from my students all the time. And that's how you grow and get better, is just by learning from anyone and everyone you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, rod building, I've learned, is just it's not a huge community. It's a small community, and people are tight knit and they're willing to share with you, and you can really create some great relationships. You can build some good friendships, and you can learn a lot from one another. And that's, to me, is the most rewarding part of this whole journey that I've been on. And it's been really healing for me as a veteran coming through what I've gone through. And it's really helped my life personally. It's helped me grow as a person. And it's been really very beneficial. And it's been one of those things that I really appreciate.
You touched on something that really has me wondering. I don't know what percentage of our population are veterans. I don't know. Pick a number. 30%? Maybe that's high. I don't know. But here we have a class that's 95% veterans. I mean, that to me is meaningful. What are your thoughts on the value of not just these classes, but rod wrapping in general, benefits for veterans?
Well, I mean, for veterans, it's important for us to continue to grow as people. I mean, a lot of us, we get out of the service and we kind of just melt into society, and you kind of need to remember to take care of yourself and continue to grow as a person. And that's what rod building has taught me. When I wasn't able to work anymore, I questioned my value as a man, taking care of my family.
Yeah.
I had a lot of that stripped away from me when I wasn't able to work. And so going through that process of needing to find a way to find value for myself, this provided that for me. And I know that this helps a lot of veterans who are going through mental health issues and different health crises and things like that. It provides an outlet for you to focus on something to help you. The rod is basically a symbol of yourself, and you're basically constructing not only the rod, but you're building yourself up as you're building that rod. And each rod that you build, you're building yourself up at the same time as you're building that rod. And so that's kind of what I got out of that. And so I share that with people all the time. I share the message of taking care of your mental health, finding outlets for you to be constructive and do those kind of things to help create your a positive space for you to go into and help yourself heal and move forward and make the rest of your life positive and continue to grow as a human being, as a man, because it's only going to help everybody around you. And that's, I think, what a lot of veterans, they just get lost.
Yeah. And I know that for some who have some disabilities that may prevent more normal types of work, I've seen them pick up rod building and turn it into something that becomes their own business, their own outlet, their own, like you said, focus and reason and all of that. And
yeah, I'm one of those, Captain Dave. I'm one of those. I'm 100% service connected veteran, and I'm one of those examples for you. And I'm here giving my testimony to that. And anybody out there listening, I mean, this is a great avenue. Captain Tiffany's course is a great place to start. It's a great place to go to help, get that base of knowledge and to get those juices flowing. I'm telling you, it's a great value. It really is.
Tracy, your work is just phenomenal. I've seen, some of your work and stuff that you've done outside of class. I mean, it's gorgeous. And showing it on here you can't see how gorgeous it is as it is in person. But if anybody, has a rod or wants, to have Tracy build a rod, I highly recommend Tracy building rods for you.
Oh, thank you.
Somebody mentioned the relationships that can form earlier too. And in the chat, I saw one, Jeff, Tiffany, he's inviting you to become a rap artist, and he's going to write your lyrics. You know what you spelled rap our way.
I guess when he said he's coming up with the lyrics, it'd be interesting to see the lyrics. I haven't rapped since high school.
I can just see you with the shows on the seminar stage doing rap songs. And holding up rods.
I don't know if I can rap anymore. It was our rap in high school is more of Salt and Pepper. If you guys all remember that group, that was our rap back in the day. And then Tupac came along.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do it. I'll try, but I might scare everybody.
That is fun stuff. Well, we've had a good talk today about about one of those aspects of wrapping, one of those skill sets within a skill set. And it's an important one, and it's one that maybe not enough people have really ventured into, but it's an area with so much creative opportunity, the tiger wraps. And so in upcoming weekly podcasts here, I think we should focus on other skill sets within skill sets and talk about some of those, because listening to you two talk about this one has been great today.
Tiger wraps are a pretty popular art form for rod building. A lot of people want to learn the tiger wraps, and it's not difficult after you get over that first little hump of how does this work. But once you get it, I mean, you can come up with so many different designs. Doc Ski, for instance, when he does a weave, his decorative end wraps of the weaves, a lot of them are tiger wraps. I like to do the marbling out of weaves because I don't like that stripe, so I'll do marbling. But a lot of people use the tiger wraps for their decorative end wraps in between weaves or in between other types of designs. So there's a lot you can do with it.
Good point. And I just want to remind everyone tuning in here that we've got ReelQuick Reel Seat behind this show, and he's doing great things, and he's going to be at the upcoming shows to answer all your questions, show his products, help you figure out how to wire his very unique and functional reel seats into your rod builds. And one of those opportunities is going to be at what I think is going to become just a fantastic ongoing annual show, and that's the Southern California International Boat Show, April 9th through 12th at the Anaheim Convention Center, where many of us will be. I can't promise that Captain Tiffany is going to go on stage and do a rap song, but hey, you can talk to her about it, her and Jeff, they could just do this. But whether she does or not, that show, California International Boat Show, is one not to miss. That's for sure.
Yeah, you got to go to that show. That show is going to be phenomenal. We got a lot of the students going to be at the show that are going to be selling their rods. You can take a look at all the different rods that they've built. We have seminars on rod building. We have seminars going on different types of fishing, tuna fishing. Captain Dave Hansen's going to do a seminar. You'll have to ask him what. Just a lot of different things going on the show. Boats, if you're looking at, wanting to buy a boat, you can actually get on these boats. Jet skis, kayaks, you name it. Everything is going to be there. That's a watercraft. You can go and check it out, test and just take a look at it, and then swing by our booth. It's going to be the stage area that you're going to learn. You can, watch us wrap rods. We're going to be wrapping there, seminars there, and a whole long line of stuff going on there. And you might win a free rod.
You might win a free rod, because you're going to have raffles on vague rods.
Yep, I'm going to be making up some rods and, for the raffle. So there'll be a free raffle. You don't have to purchase anything to enter in the raffle. You might walk away with the vague rods, custom-made rod.
Could happen.
Tim, yes, we are in the same row with Captain Dave Hansen. In the PCS, I think it's it's 907 through 912 booth, I think is all of our line. We have a whole line up there.
Yeah. Including Daniel Rubin with ReelQuick Realty. They'll be there too. Same row.
All in the same row. So it's like we're connecting. It's like what do you call it? Rubik's Cube. We're all connected.
Nice. All right, connected. You guys ready to wrap it up?
Okay, we can wrap it up, Captain Dave. It's hard to. We have fun here, but
Absolutely.
And you're out fishing. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to wrap this up Because I was envisioning you out there with a bent rod and fish on, and you ain't got time to wrap things up, you know?
Well, we haven't had to worry about a rod going off yet, but probably right after we go live, we're going to get a hookup. But hey, I want to thank everybody for watching today. Tomorrow, I'm going to have Bill DePriest and Mike Bond on the show talking about the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Festival, because next week, we're all going to be there. You're going to see us live from the show. Next Thursday, we'll be at the show, putting on a hell of a show for you guys. I hope you all come out and join us. And thank you all for watching today. And thank you very much, Tracy, for joining Dave Bacon and Tiffany today. That was really nice of you, and I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Have a great day. Turn off the news. They're all lying, and I'll